I don't know.
Hi! So we're going to play around with some colors with the new Jaclyn Hill palette, right?
Yes.
So what are we doing today?
Okay. We will be starting off this wonderful palette that she hasn't opened yet.
It's spanking new, but are we doing like a smoky eye? Are we doing something?
We are going to do a blue smoky eye.
A what?
A blue smoky eye.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to start off with her eyebrows because that's usually what I do. I don't have all of my makeup here, so I'm using some of her stuff. So let me zoom in. Okay, so I have already filled in her brows using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz pencil in the color taupe. So now I'm going to fill in her brows using the Tarte concealer. And I start off in the arch, as you see right now, and just kind of blend down. So now I'm going to start working towards the front of the brow, and I take my time doing this. I'm just fast forwarding this just so you can get the gist of it. But I'm starting to work towards the front and moving it back, just moving that product along and blending it out. And then I go towards the front of the brow and kind of flick it up to give it a natural look. And then I'll move towards the outside of the brow and sharpen up that point there. So whatever product I have left over, I'll just move to the front and blend it out to give the brow a natural look. Okay, so here I'm going in with the fluffy brush by BH Cosmetics, and just going in circular motions. I'm going in with the color Silk Cream and doing the same on the other side, just back and forth, windshield wiper motions. So next I'm going in with the color Creamsicle on the same brush, just going over top of Silk Cream. Same motion, just circular, back and forth, blending in everything, making sure it's all nice and blended. So now I am going in with the brush, with the Morphe brush. I forgot the number, but it comes in the Jaclyn Hill set, her favorites, and going in with the color Butter, and I'm just kind of going over top of that creamsicle color, but keeping it a little lower and bringing it all the way into the inner corner and blending all of that out. And I kind of fast forward to this part just so you can see what I'm doing. I go in back and forth a lot with this color. I grab more product, and I'm also blending this downward just so everything's nice and blended, and I'll go back in with my fluffy brush and blend out the edges. So now I'm going in with the color Jada and working that in the same kind of area, keeping it a lot lower than I was working Silk Cream and Creamsicle, but I'm really working this into her outer lid and just working it downward. I do a lot of blending and taking my time with this color because color does take a little more patience. So take your time when doing this, and I do work it in the inner corner as well. I slowly bring it forward, whatever product I have left over. And again, I pick up more product and put it right on top and do the same motions. So windshield wiper motions, I pack that color in the inner corner, just blending everything out, keeping a light hand. Next I go in with the color Enchanted. It's like a deep emerald green color, and pack it right on top of Jada. I always pack the product on where I want it the darkest first, and so I go on the outer corner. I am going in with a more dense Morphe brush to make sure I'm more precise with this color because I do not want it to go everywhere. And I also put it in the inner corner because I want it kind of like a halo, very smoky eye. So again, I pack on more color, go in the inner corner, and blend it all out. And I know working with color can be intimidating, but don't get discouraged. It can look like a hot mess at first, but you just keep blending, girl. You keep on blending, and make sure you keep it low because sometimes it can look a little too smoky and a little too dramatic if that's not what you're going for. If you're going for it, go for it, girl. But I do go back in with the original Morphe brush and blend out those edges. And here I am going in with the color 24/7. I am going with it in with a BH Cosmetics brush. It comes in a little ice set, I believe. And I'm just packing this color on. And I know I said I'm doing a blue smoky eye, and it does not look like that's what I'm doing, but I promise you it will come together in the end. But yes, I'm just packing this color on. It's like a brown shimmery color. I feel like this is the color in the palette that has like the most shimmer in it. and then I'll go on top with that blue. The blue is called, one second. Okay, sorry about that. It was called the Color to Work, and I do go in with some Fix Plus because it was not applying the way I exactly wanted it to. So I spray my brush and pack on that color, and you can see it's much more vibrant in the way I want it to look. It's a lot more shimmery, it stands out more, and on top of that, color 24/7, I feel like the shimmer shows up a lot more. And so I just work that color in, slowly blend it up into the color Enchanted, and making sure that everything's all blended. So this is what it looks like with just the Color to Work, me bringing it up into the crease, but it needs more blending. So I will go back in with that Morphe brush, the more dense brush with the color Enchanted, and pack that color on in the crease and just work it in there. I will go back and forth. I'm keeping a light hand, but still working it in there and bringing it to the inner corner as well, because we want this pretty blown out. And this part is probably the most time consuming. I do go back and forth a lot with this color and blending out those edges. So take your time, and then I will go in with the wipe and clean out any fallout, because it will prep us for the face, and we will get started on foundation. So now I'm going in with Urban Decay Quick Fix Spray and spritz her all over to prep her or prime her for foundation, and I'm using Makeup Forever. I usually try to match to the neck rather than the face, so I'll start at the temples and kind of work my way down the cheek, and I'll kind of do patting motions, making sure that I'm pressing it into the skin, and just buff the rest out. And this is the Morphe brush as well. All these brushes are pretty much Morphe from the same Jaclyn Hill collection. And then one thing about doing your foundation is I never swipe. I always dab into this, press into the skin, or like do dabby motions. Synthetic brushes are the best brushes to use in my opinion for foundation, and that's just my preference. So I'm sure you got the gist of how I do my foundation. So I'm moving along to concealer, and I'm using the concealer by Tarte, the Shape Tape concealer in the color Fair, and this is a very bright, very full coverage concealer. So if you're looking for something that's a little more, what's the word? Light coverage. I had a brain fart there. If more light coverage, I would stay away from this one, but I also use this to highlight. I do the under eyes in like a V shape, downside the nose, and her forehead as well. And so after this, she's gonna be looking a little crazy, but it's all good. We're gonna go back and blend it out with my beauty blender. It is damp. I wet it, wring it out under the sink a few times, and it will help blend out your concealer. Since it is a very thick, very creamy concealer, we need something damp like this, and it'll help just make everything flawless. And so I do blend out under the eyes, and I'll make sure to kind of go by on the sides of the nose, and it will make the illusion of a more slim, skinnier nose. And that's it, all blended out. So then it is time to move on to bronzing and contouring. So contouring, you always start from the top of the ear to the corner of the mouth. That's kind of like your guideline. And I'll go very light-handed with a more gray tone for my contour, and I will bring it behind the jawline to sharpen up her jaw. You know, for pictures you want, you know, look snatched, girl, snatched. And then I'll go in with a more bronzy color and go right on top of that contour and go towards the forehead, and blend all of that out. And so then I'll move along to her nose and contour her nose just a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of it just because sometimes I feel like it brings more attention to it. Me having a big nose. She doesn't really have a big nose, so I'm kind of going all out. And then I'll move on to blush, and I'm using the Becca. Everything's pretty much a Jaclyn Hill. It's like a Jaclyn Hill video. Anyways, and then I'll move on to setting the under eyes, and I'm going in with her MAC powder. It's actually foundation powder, but it's very smooth and silky, and I thought it'd be perfect for the under eye and to kind of tone down that brightness. And I'll set it everywhere else and just blend everything out to make it look very seamless. And so after I set those areas, I'm going to move on to my RCMA powder and sharpen up my contour, because I was pretty light-handed. I like to keep the face pretty natural overall. So, but I'll go back in with this powder, and it'll make it look like I spent forever doing her contour. And then I will go in with some eyeshadow to smoke everything out. and I'm mimicking what I did on top. So I'm going in with the color Twerk, that blue eyeshadow, and tight lining it under her eyes, and then using the green to smoke it out, and that's what it looks like. And then to highlight the inner corner, I am using Enlighten Beam, mixing those two together and using it on her brow bone as well. And after this, I will move on to the fun part, highlighting, and I'm going in with Kylie Cosmetics, the highlighting loose powders, and I'm going in with the colors Santorini and Fiji. First I'm going in with Fiji, it's more of a golden color, and then I will go in with the color Santorini, which is this one right here, and this one is more of a silver, and she was glowing. These have quickly become my favorite. And then I will move on and remove this bakage. So as I'm wrapping this up, I will move on to lips, and I'm using Kylie Cosmetics and the Kim collection, the nude collection, and the color Kim, I believe, and setting her with some setting spray. And this is the final look. This is what we came up with, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. Doing this voiceover has been a struggle, but I hope you liked it.
Okay, well, this is the look. So we hope you liked the video. This is like our kind of first time doing this, and it was lots of fun.
Yes, and so stay tuned for a little giveaway that we both are gonna have. And if you have questions or just comments or feedback, just leave it in the comments. I don't even know. So for those of you who don't know, Toya is my little sister. She's the professional. I just like to play model once in a while.
More like all the time.
It's my little annoying brother.
He's my little annoying brother.
And I'm a little thirsty. I'm not a full coverage kind of girl.
I'm more hydrating, glowing kind of girls. And she got a big forehead, so we gonna really bronze this up. And a very light hand with this palette because, girl, you gonna be rosy for days. You can see from outer space,